Welcome to the HerStory Circle podcast, the podcast that brings you the extraordinary tales of everyday women who are changing the world. I'm your host, Gertrude Mache, and I'd like to acknowledge traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. I also like to pay my respects to elders, past, present, and emerging. Every week, we dive into the lives, challenges, and triumphs of women from all four corners of the globe. We're here to inspire, enlighten, and connect, sharing stories that uplift and empower. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and join us as we explore the incredible journeys of women shaping our future. This is Her Story, where every woman's voice matters. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story Circle. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another intriguing and fascinating woman. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, and share your story with us today.
Hi, I'm Andrea Dyan Brown, and I'm in Michigan, USA, and my story began here, Michigan. I grew up on a farm with tons and tons of kids. And actually, my parents, my biological father and my biological mother were married for, I want to say, 4 or 5 years. I was 3 when they split, and so my mother remarried when I was 5, and that brought me to Michigan on the farm. And it was a dairy farm. We all worked. I was part of 4-H, took my calf to the fair, loved it until I got to be a teenager. And then I got a lot of energy, wanted to do everything and see everything and go everywhere. I ended up going to Michigan State University, go green. And I studied communications and moved from there, got out of college, and I was lost. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I thought I wanted to go into production. I actually had some interviews as a camera operator, but I was told unless I wanted to be a director, that don't even bother. Well, I want to be a producer. But I wasn't focused enough to just stick to it and go for it. But that wasn't my path, right? So I ended up taking a job in a nonprofit, the Symphony Orchestra, and helped fundraise for them, which I had an opportunity within there with my sister as a model. By the way, 6 kids, 2 stepbrothers, a foster brother, and an exchange sister from Japan. So we are a large family. And my sister, the model, said my friend photographer needs a producer for these photo shoots. So I took that, and I ended up meeting some people in the advertising world and got my first job in advertising way back, and I'll say when later, maybe, to reveal my age. But it was great. I was off to the races. I loved advertising. It was so much fun. I was a bit of a workaholic at the beginning of my career. There were times where I worked so much that I had so much. I went home at 8 in the morning, showered, and came back from my first meeting with the client. That's how bad I was working. I wasn't even sleeping half the time. Lots of playing, though. Played very hard, but it's okay. I was in my 20s and 30s, and that's when you do it. It was fun. But I kind of graduated from that, if you will. I'm like, oh, I don't want to work this hard all the time. And I ended up working on the client side, do marketing for a couple companies, and I worked for one company for almost 8 years and loved it. Thought I was going to retire with it, but they got bought by a capital investment group, and I ended up finding myself out of a job. The whole executive team, all of the marketing, lots of people in different departments, accounting and manufacturing, every place got felt it, but it was a great product, great brand, and great company. So wished them well, and you knew it was coming because it was an investment and they have to show profit. So I started doing fractional work, fractional marketing and advertising, and I'm a creative person. I can be pretty good at designing and writing. So I ended up working even without work for like a couple years, and COVID was there, and it just was kind of really influx. Everybody felt it. So that during COVID, I ended up just getting my master's degree, and I thought, well, this is great because this will help me get my new role. And I did. I got a new role with a SaaS company, and it was good, but I wasn't extremely satisfied. So when another company, a cannabis company, came knocking, we need you, and offering higher salary, I went, but I didn't do my due diligence and check their finances, and I ended up not in a good spot. So that was a short-lived business. Long story short, 2.5 years, no job after that. Lots of fractional work with startups, lots of frustrated people, and lots of companies and leaders that weren't focused and building things on the foundation they need. And I got frustrated. So I wrote a book called A Business That Works for You. And that takes a leader through the foundations of building that business. You look at your processes, you look at your positions and the people in those positions, your finances, your leadership style, your branding and your brand equity, your end game, what your leadership legacy is going to be. So it really takes you through all of that and how to build that business that can work autonomously, so you as a leader can focus on the bigger and better picture. And that actually catalyzed me into a nice situation where I could start speaking. So I've been doing some speaking gigs, and I actually took a chapter out of one of my books called The Innovation Mindset, and have been doing a lot of lectures and presentations on that. And that's how to foster that innovation mindset within your organization. So everybody's thinking forward, everybody's in the same momentum to go forward, everybody's coming with fresh ideas, thinking out of the box. And it really does invigorate your company. It helps embrace technology easier. So of course, AI is coming part of that presentation. So I've been having a really good time doing that as well. And I have some fantastic clients that actually have great foundations and are moving that ball up the field. I'm just helping them out with some more high-level advisory work with goals and advertising marketing. So it's been going fantastic since then. Quick story, but there's still a lot of layers that I haven't even gotten into personally or otherwise. But yeah.
What a fascinating story so far. It's just incredible how you've been able to pivot and change and find different opportunities despite all the challenges that were coming your way. A real sign of resilience there.
Thanks.
So, what drew you into the world of business strategy and leadership in the first place?
Well, the marketing, right? So started in advertising, switched to marketing, and people love to bring marketing in when they're stuck or they need to get to a next level and they're struggling. And this will solve our problems. All we need is to just let people know about our product and our services, and we'll be fine. Or we just need sales supported somehow. That's not what marketing does, right? It really shouldn't be the Band-Aid. It should be an integral part of your business right from the beginning. Marketing is how your next person, any person that works for you, any employee, talks about your business. And marketing is your personality, your messaging, your values, and it needs to be integrated immediately when you're thinking about your business. And of course, when you're calling marketing in and you're struggling and you found yourself in a situation where you feel like you just, okay, I'm just going to bring this person in to solve my problem, then there are always a lot of other problems happening underlining, right? So I usually find myself going, okay, well, let's take a look at what's going on. Like, how did you get here anyway? And then you uncover all these issues that weren't resolved or set up or needs resolving. There's spending being happening where it shouldn't be spent, and some savings could happen, or they need some spending over here because they haven't implemented a system or something.
Yeah.
Um, and then you get that, then I'm finding myself just completely advising on the whole process and the whole business and all the strategy, because it's all about the goals, right? What is
Yes.
the end game? Where do you want to take this business? And then what do you want immediately? Like, where do we want, what's our short-term goal, but what is your goal? Whoever is running the company or leading the company, and then you use that as a strategy. So you end up with a big, more business strategy than marketing strategy, because it all
Right.
is interconnected, and that inspired the book. So yeah,
Okay. So I know that you talk about strategy with soul.
yeah.
What does that actually mean in practice?
In practice, meaning don't throw spaghetti at the wall, don't spray and pray. don't don't go, hey, I've got a great idea, I'm just gonna, you are great at it, I don't know, you probably already have a strategy before you even launch any business, right? So when you're
Yes.
going to launch a business, there's usually some form of strategy. Okay, I'm going to take this product, I'll put it online, and I'm going to post about it and see if someone will buy it, right? That's a
Yes.
strategy, right? That is a strategy. Is it a good one? I don't know. Let's see what kind of product it is, who you're marketing to. Is this a good place to get their eye? That's also strategy. Let's, like, the research is also a big passion of mine. Research,
Right.
research, research. Look at all the research, see where it points you, use that as the base for your strategy. Create the strategy, try the strategy. Strategy is not working, try another one. But my favorite thing is my strategy is always multi-pronged. So if one's working better than the other, you can throw the money over there, right? And but the strategy of building those building blocks of business is is an essential strategy, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
to put a business together, you need to think about, well, funds do I have to get started with, right? And how can I use those funds? I have $5. Okay, let's figure out how we can use those funds effectively. It doesn't matter how
Yes.
much you have, it's about how you use it. That strategy
Okay.
is number one. But thinking about what that means. Do you need brick and mortar? Do you need a computer maybe, right? Okay, because I can do this on my phone, but I should
Yeah.
probably get a laptop. You know what I mean? These
Yeah.
kind of
Exactly.
things. But the building
Yes.
blocks of finances, processes, people, eventually, even if it's just you're a solopreneur, but eventually if you want to bring in people, you got to think about those positions. Uh,
Yes.
you've got to think about the environment you're creating too. So your
Mm.
leadership style, you know, what you're encouraging within your organization. You know, is everybody running scared, or is everybody super excited to work for you? You know, that's like, what do you want? Yeah.
So, yeah. So, what patterns do you see in leaders who are stuck or burning out?
There. So I'm a big fan of E-Myth, Michael Gerber's E-Myth. I don't know if you ever read it.
I
Um,
have.
there, he defined it as three different management styles, but they're
Um,
falling in one or two, but not the three. You need a balance of all three. So there's a manager, a technician, and a visionary. The
mhm.
manager, think of the micromanager. Everything has to be OCD. Everything has to have
Perfect.
order and strategy, and not strategy, but structure. And you cannot go beyond, you cannot color outside the line. straight and narrow, one step, two step. We got to get that step first before we go to the second step. We can't think about that over here because we're thinking about this over here. That's the manager. The technician is in there. Like, think of a developer. They're writing all the code. They're doing it all. And they're creating all the products themselves. And what's happening to the business? So how is the business being dealt with? And then the visionary, head in the cloud. Oh, I see the future. I see the future. Fantastic. All visionaries think they're a natural born leader, but what are they doing to manage the business, set it up, structure it, and get the work done? So if you're balanced, you end up having a holistic view of your business. And what I find with those who are struggling, they're either a technician or usually a visionary. Rarely have I met the manager, but they're out there, where nothing gets done because they're trying to cross all the dots and not focus on one thing at a time. And you have to focus on you got to be a little ADD in your business. But most of them have been either a technician or a visionary. The visionaries are the most frustrating because they don't want to be bothered.
They have their head in the clouds most of the time.
Yeah. And they're on to the next thing. And the next thing, you know what else we could do? Oh, wait. And then nothing gets launched, right? So that's the other thing. Ready to launch. Okay, cool. We got our first version. Let's go. Let's get it out there. No, wait. It could be doing this. We should probably add that. Hang on. Let me get it that. Well, you know what else it can do? It's like, no, let's get one done first, and then we'll improve it as we go.
Yeah. I love it. So how do you blend AI innovation with human-centered leadership?
Well, AI is a tool, and AI should be an assistant and never a replacement. It should always just be the tool it is. We have been through this with other tools, right? We've been through this with computers and even robotics. And sure, there may be some growing pains, but to understand that AI is not here to replace people. It's here to speed up our processes and and make us much better at multitasking. Do you see what I'm saying? So everything happens faster because we've got an AI assistant. And then we also, it no matter what tool you're using, it's an AI assistant. It shortens research. It shortens this one hypothesis 3 I just saw. It was a enterprise problem-solving machine. It was fantastic. It gives you all these hypotheses under different categories and what could help solve this problem. And then you go through these exercises on the hypothesis, then it spits out, yep, here's your action plan. Here's what you need to do step by step. Like, and it's big time, huge, complex problems. And that would otherwise take 6 months. And we don't sometimes have those that time. That's money lost. So it saves you money because it speeds up processes. It is it helps. It's also a good sounding board. Of course, not perfect. You have to watch it. I know there's a lot of AI out there being used to create content and all that. You're not going to stop that. But I got frustrated with it at one point because there's a lot going on. I'm on social media and otherwise that it's really not fair, especially to people that don't understand that it's probably not real or that was made up. I don't think that this is censorship, but we rate our movies, right? There's PG-13 and all that. Why can't we put icons or ratings on our content? Why can't AI help with rating? This is this has not been researched or not, this is an opinion, or it could be rated opinion, it could be rated fact, it could be rated, depend on what is back behind it, real, AI, all of that should come into play so that the reader, the browser, is understanding and understands what they're looking at, that this information that they're reading is not a real story, or this is not a real image, or it's very frustrating to see all the garbage that's out there and people are feeling like it's real.
Yeah, no, that is so true. So, what are the biggest myths about leadership that you are working to dismantle?
That that it's power. I mean, sure, yeah, you can gain some power, feel power, but it's not meant to be. It's leadership. Leadership should be creating other leaders.
Yes.
True and good leadership, successful leadership, is just that. It's almost mentorship. It is inspiring. It is organized. It is responsible, because you are responsible for people that you are leading. You're
Yes.
molding them. You're helping them. You're not overseeing. You're not, what is it, overlord? You're not an overlord. You're not over. You're not. You may be the boss, but you're not the dictator, and you should never be. No successful business. I mean, sure, there may be some out there, but really, it always is a bad situation when there are leaders that use it as a place of power. And I know it has happened throughout history, but true leadership and successful companies, especially this day and age, need to be more helpful, more concerned about how they're leading and the people that they are leading.
So, what role do women play in reimagining democracy and leadership, do you think?
Not be so passive. We got to do things. We can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to see how it works out, or I don't want to piss them off, or I don't want to shake up the situation. No, shake it up. Get in there, shake it up, because your voice is not going to be heard if you're being passive about things. And you've got to have your voice heard, and don't let them push back. And that's a big thing. That's been a tactic for a long time. And it's not just men, other women do it too, where they push back and just say, oh, you're being hysterical, or when did you become a bitch, or whatever. And it's this pushback it's there. It's a tactic to deter you from your, to get you to shut up, to deter you from your point. Yeah,
it can be very frustrating. So, how do you help people lead from their values and not just their KPIs?
Well, you got to. It's just a conversation, really. Looking at what they want for the company, where their goal is. It's okay to be, I want to take it public, I want to sell it. That's great. Those are great goals. We use those as strategies, but then you just say, what do you want your company to be? What do you want it to represent? So that comes out from their personality, like from who they are, what they want, and you get that. And actually marketing really helps with that, because in your marketing strategy or your brand strategy, you have that personality of the brand and the values of the brand. That's the values of the company. It's usually the value of where the leaders want to take it, and that want that for themselves. So asking them things like, what do you want for your employees? What kind of, how do you want them to be long-term employees, happy, growing with the company and helping the company grow? Or do you want a high turnover? You don't care. just pay them
Right.
minimum wage, minimum benefits, and let's just make as much profit as
As
possible.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, why is emotional intelligence crucial for business success today, do you think?
I think it's crucial today because we are an emotional, especially in the United States, emotional country, and this is um, this is crucial for success. A successful business can't operate maybe back like it used to in the, I don't want to say olden times, where it was
Yeah.
okay to work your employees like dogs and treat them like dogs. It's not, and you shouldn't treat dogs this way anyway. But uh, it's important to understand your fellow man and that
Mm.
individual, and we're that individual. And in that use back there have been always good companies that I've ever heard of, always uh, took stock in the individual that's working for them. The one
Yes.
one company that I worked for actually gave us turkeys for Thanksgiving. In US, that's a thankful holiday. It happens every year. Um,
Yes.
and and now I always thought that was special that tradition continued like from the 50s, And so, but if you want to be successful, you need to take stock in your employees, give them a great place to work, get them a good place to grow for professionally. Even if they leave your company, looking back, what's
Mm.
your leadership legacy? It's a whole chapter in my book. Do you want them to look back disdain or just admiration and thankfulness because you made a difference in their life? And your business is more successful with happier and more productive employees than it is with just people coming in for the grind and
Mm.
doing as they're told. And you do want them to do their job, but as long as they're professional adults and doing their job, let them go, because they're going to make your business even better, because they come up with fresh ideas. They're going to be more efficient. They're going to get things done quicker. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your book, this upcoming book. What is the title and what can people expect from this book?
Well, I'm not sure when it's going to be published. Probably at least a
Okay.
year, maybe 6 months. I don't know. I'm getting ambitious these days. It's called Us versus Them: The Demise of Democracy. And it's about looking at each other as individuals, not grouping people into groups and dehumanizing them, because our brains are wired that way, right?
Yeah.
We are wired to see patterns and to defense mechanism, label others and other animals and everything as dangerous or friendly. And
Mm.
so it's easier to say them and us
Yeah.
versus, and because they're them, you
Operation.
know, they're not us. But it's still the group that you're saying is them are made up of individuals with individual stories, with with their own journey in life. And we're
Yes.
all us. At the end of the day, we are all us. So this book will take us through how we got here, what it's doing to our society, and what we can do to help move our society forward to
Mhm.
get to grow out of that mindset of us versus them.
I love that. So let's end our interview with a bit of a thought experiment. In the first question, I will teleport you back to go and meet the younger you, this young woman who went into the world of business, has now gone down this trajectory of supporting organizations to work to their optimum. If you could go back and give yourself three nuggets of wisdom based on what life has taught you up until this point, what three nuggets of wisdom would you have wanted somebody to have told you then?
Things always work out. It always does. Life is ups and downs. And as down as it may get, if you work hard, persevere, keep focused, and that's a hard part, it will work out. Life always works out. So the other part would be stay focused. And don't worry so much, don't stress so much, and move forward from third one, process and move forward from anything you felt you may have done wrong. Don't overanalyze. That was a big thing, especially when I was young, is what went wrong, how could I fix that, and it over and over again, and then you end up living in the past. Process it, move forward, and know that you're fantastic.
I love that. They say that depression is based on you getting stuck in the past, wanting to change things that you can't go back and change. And stress is you worrying about a future that may or may not happen. So just being aware of that is absolutely crucial in life. So my last question for you is now centered on the future, on legacy, where you're going, and what difference you're going to make in the world. If I could teleport you into the future to meet the 90-year-old you, and she is sitting in her rocking chair, maybe she's on the dance floor with her dogs, her cats, whoever's with you at the end. If I could teleport you to go and meet this wise woman who has led you up until this point, what will you say to her when you finally meet her?
Great job. I hope it was a great ride, and completely am enjoying it, and I'm hoping we're still enjoying it.
I absolutely love that. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming online and sharing your incredible story with us today. It has been an honor to share you with our community, bringing us strategies for those who are in business and startups, and now this amazing book that will come out to guide more women to work smart and not hard.
Exactly.
And definitely make sure that you don't burn out. Thank you so much, Andrea.
Thank you, Gertrude.
And thank you to everybody who tuned in. The Her Story Circle is not just a podcast. We're a social impact movement that brings you the stories and voices of women from all over the world. We share our stories to uplift you, to inspire you, to energize you, but most importantly, to help take you from where you are now to where you're trying to go. So tune in again tomorrow when I interview yet another amazing guest. In the meantime, have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and bye for now. Thank you for tuning into the Her Story Circle podcast. I hope today's story has inspired you to believe in the power of our stories and the difference you can make in the world when you use your voice. I'm Gertrude Mache, and it's been an honor to share this space with you, where voices from all walks of life come together to weave a rich tapestry of diverse perspectives. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast to help us share these stories with more listeners. Follow us on social media by looking for the Her Story Circle podcast for more updates. And join us tomorrow for another episode filled with courage, resilience, and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, and together we're building a stronger, more inclusive world. Until next time, keep making her story. Fantastic.